Self-confident, morally aligned people do not feel the need to use other people to get what they want in life. And I'm assuming that's you if you clicked on this video, because you're trying to understand, why do people do that? Why are people using other people to get ahead? Why are people abusing, mistreating, taking advantage of other people to get ahead in life? Or just to use them for their own benefit? I'm here to tell you that is a flawed way of thinking. And me, myself, I've been asking the same question because I'm not the type to use people. But other people have used people. I have been in situations where I kind of felt like I was getting used to some degree. And honestly, it's not fun. It's not fun being on the other end. And it's like somebody like me and somebody like you, I assume, you never felt the need to do that. Like, what you gonna, like, for what? For what? So that's why I had that specific statement in the beginning, morally. Let's talk about morals real quickly, because honestly, if you have a good moral ground, it would not be in your nature. It would not be your first instinct to go use people. That's for one. Like, most people, if they gotta use somebody, that be a last resort type. That'd be a last resort type of thing. Like, oh, I don't want to do this, but people's hands be tied. And sometimes they end up just doing that. However, that's a lot of people's first resort. That's the first thing that they go to. Because some people may think, either I struggle even more without using this person, or use this person and get what I want quicker. You know, something aligning with that. And I just feel like it's a flawed way of thinking, because why don't you feel like you can get what you want, get whatever you need without having to do that? Why is that an essential step to you getting what you want in this world? Oh, I got to use somebody to get from point A to point B. I got to take advantage of somebody to get from point A to point B. Think about it. Why do you feel like in your mind, why do people feel like in their mind they have to do that? That's a flawed way of thinking, because how easy it is for somebody to say that. Let's reframe. Somebody can easily say, you know what? I could do that, but I'm not. I'm going to get it another way. I'm going to get what I need another way. I'm going to find a way to do it on my own without having to mistreat this person, without having to abuse this person, without having to take advantage of this person. That's a whole mindset thing. Why do people do it? Well, for one, if you really look at it, it could be easier just to use another person. I'm going to keep it a buck. Would I do it personally? No, because I'm fully confident. If I need something, if I want something, I don't need to use somebody else. I can do it on my own. Or I can ask God for help. And that's something like people be forgetting to do. Like, hello, just ask for God. Ask God. It don't take much to be like, Lord. And then y'all talk. Simple as that. But no, people aren't thinking like that. And that goes back to the moral standpoint. Where is it? Where'd it go? And I almost feel like it's unnatural to even think in that kind of way. And the only reason why it be natural to people, one, it's probably taught. You know, growing up, they probably seen their own parents. That's how they get around. They see their role models. That's how they get around. They see their older generation, the people around them. That's how they get around. Okay, that must be normal. So for them, now they're entering this space as they grow. As they're growing to a person, they see that using people is normal. Are like, oh, then I'm just going to do the same thing. Because what also reinforces that is, if people are using people and getting what they want, it shows to the individual that's, learning, oh, they're doing that and they're still getting what they want, without having to lift a finger. So it's like, if I'm surrounded by people doing that and they all getting what they want to no expense to them, It's like, I guarantee, like, that's like if somebody said, oh, if you punch so-and-so, you're getting $5,000 guaranteed. Yeah, why not? Give me my money. You're guaranteed to get what you want, so that's probably the thought process that be going on with people who be using other people. But it don't have to be like that. So people have to unlearn that kind of thinking, then relearn, having to get things without having to do that. And that's where self-confidence come in. People aren't confident that they can get what they want, or they can get what they can get what they need without using another individual. They don't feel like, you see how I feel like I can do that on my own? People don't have that feeling. People don't have that feeling. That's why self-confident, morally people don't really dabble into the, let's use other people community. They're not in that community. No. Straight up. I'm just going to say, I don't want to do too much because, like I said, people are probably taught that. So in their mind, they're thinking it's morally okay. So that's where morals can be kind of subjective. But, with proper education, with proper learning, I think anybody after the age of 6 can, click in their mind, oh yeah, it's actually not okay to use people for your advantage because it's hurting another person. Yeah. I mean, at some point, like, it should click like that's not okay. That's just my personal opinion. But it's just flawed thinking. Because like I said, why do you feel like you need to do that to get what you want? And some people just rather do it, like I said, because it's easier. Why not? I don't have to do anything, just use this person's time, their feelings, their money, their energy, and I end up winning. But at the same time, why don't you have a problem with that person ending up losing? Why is it okay for you to be part of the reason? At the end of the day, everybody have free will of what they want to do with their time and energy. So if people are getting used, no, in most cases, people aren't having a gun to their head and saying, oh, be used. No, everybody's got free will, but at the same time, it's like, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing to that person. But yet you're still doing it anyways. Why? It's flawed thinking. It's a flawed thought process if you think that is okay. And it reflects on your self-esteem. And it reflects on your characteristics. Because like I said, why don't you feel like you can get what you need without doing that? People do that all the time. All the time. People definitely get their needs filled. People definitely get what they want without having to do all of that. People definitely got Lamborghinis without having to use somebody. People definitely got that nice house. People definitely healed themselves without having to use other people. Without having to take advantage of somebody else. Definitely, and part of the reason is because they believe that they could do it. You gotta believe that you could do it without doing people like that. You don't gotta do people like that to get what you want. Absolutely not. And I'm sorry if you have been taught that you need to do that, or you feel like you need to do that to obtain anything meaningful in this world. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's not necessary. It's not a requirement to do that. It's not a requirement to use somebody to get what you want. It's not. Like I said, people get what they want all the time without doing that. And the people who do be taking advantage of people, they can do it too. Or if other people, the people who have been taking advantage is watching this, like if you are the type to take advantage of people, I want you to know you can get what you need without doing that. 100%. Maybe it might be harder. Maybe it might take more time. But what's not a maybe is That is right. There's no maybe in that. It is right. It is the right thing to do. It's just the right thing to do. And I know you wouldn't want that to be done to you. You get what I'm saying? Using people to get what you want is flawed. You don't have to, nobody has to do that. It's flawed thinking. It can be a learned concept. It can be a normalized concept. Hey, because y'all know what kind of world we living in. It could be a learned concept. It could be a normalized concept. But that doesn't mean it's the right concept. And that doesn't mean just because other people are doing it, that doesn't mean you don't have the ability to get what you need without doing that. Nah. I'd be the first one to tell you, nah. And the best way to change it is to look into yourself. That's the best way. People who use people, that's the best way they can try to change if they want to. Actually, that's the first step, wanting to. Because like I said, like, if people are getting results from doing that, they're going to be less likely wanting to change. Like, think about people who do LF. Like, they're getting money, so if they know they're getting a lot of money, even though they're in that industry, it's going to be less likely for them to get out of it because they know they're getting paid. So it's the same thing with this. I get it. People using somebody is getting them what they want, but at the end of the day, like, what's your why? What is the why behind it? Okay, it might be easier, but do people feel good inside doing that? It's a flawed thinking. It's flawed thinking. You don't have to do that. Nobody has to do that, dude. Nobody gotta do that. Getting what you want without using people is 100% possible. Feeling like you need to use somebody, flawed thinking. I don't know where people are getting that from. And if people actually want to do that, like, yeah, I do want to use people to get what I want. Yeah. Where's the moral stand ground? What are you morally loyal to? If that's something you genuinely want to do. Cause I'm not gonna sit here and act like people don't genuinely want to do that. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes it's learned, and sometimes people subconsciously, unconsciously just end up following that kind of path. But who's to say people out here don't want to think like that? It's flawed for sure. But that doesn't mean people want to do it any less. You gotta think about that moral stand ground. And people gotta check themselves on that. What's up with it? What's going on? It's a flawed thinking. I'm gonna say it again. Flawed thinking. Absolutely get what you want without having to do that. Absolutely can ask God to help you get what you want without having to do that. Absolutely can rely on yourself to get what you need. Absolutely. Ask God to help you find a way to get what you need to go, get to where you need to go without having to do that. It's not necessary at all. And for the people like me that I shouted out in the beginning of the video who are self-confident and morally aligned, I hope this helps you to, try to get in the mind of people who be on that type of time. And make sure you're looking at the signs. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a video on like the signs on people who do be on that type of time. But thank you for tuning in. Big Barbers all the way. Very sentimental here. Y'all take care.